Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another tropical weather outlook video. It has been a minute since we've recorded, mainly because my OBS wasn't working right. However, I've gotten that fixed. So we are all quiet on the Atlantic side of things. Obviously, as you can see, tropical cyclone development is on that. It's late, guys. Honestly, I'm not used to talking this late. But tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. However, if we move down to the eastern Pacific here, you can see that we have yet another system here in the eastern Pacific. This is newly designated, well, I guess I should say newly upgraded Tropical Depression 5E. It was designated at the 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time advisory as a potential tropical cyclone, and it has since been upgraded to tropical depression here, with a hurricane watch being issued. Now, this is the first hurricane watch that we've had of the season in the northern hemisphere. However, it is not the first hurricane we've had this year. Earlier last week, we had Hurricane Barbara and Tropical Storm Cosme. Barbara was a low end Category 1 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale, and Cosme was a very high end tropical storm. However, we're not here to talk about those two systems. We are here to talk about Depression 5E and the hurricane watch that has been issued. So, hurricane watch issued for portions of southern Mexico. It's about 535 miles southeast of Punta Maldonado, Mexico. I'm going to butcher all these names, by the way. I'm going to butcher all of them. So if you live in the area, don't be mad. Its movement is west northwest or 300 degrees at 12 miles an hour. And the central pressure at the moment is 1,007 millibars or 29.74 inches. So the changes with this advisory, government of Mexico has issued a hurricane watch on Bahia de Hatuculo to Punta Maldonado, and a tropical storm watch east of Bahia de Hatuculo to Salina Cruz. And then that's just the summary of watches. We're expecting probably both of these to be upgraded within the next day. Maybe the tropical storm watch is extended outward. Tropical storm and hurricane watch is being extended out. However, we'll have to wait and see on that. So, a hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions are possible within the watch area. A watch is typically issued 48 hours before the anticipated first occurrence of tropical storm force winds, conditions that make outside preparations difficult or dangerous. Tropical storm watch means that tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch area, generally within 48 hours. Interests elsewhere in southern Mexico should monitor the progress of the system. And for storm information specific to your area, please monitor products issued by your local National Meteorological Service. So, moving into the discussion here. At 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, the center of Tropical Depression 5E was located near latitude 11.2 north, longitude 92.6 west. The depression is moving toward the west-northwest near 12 miles an hour. A slower west-northwest to northwest motion is expected during the next few days. On the forecast track, the system is expected to approach the coast of southern Mexico by late Wednesday. We will see if we will be live for that. We will have to see. we might go live for landfall there. Maximum sustained winds are near 35 miles an hour with high gusts. Strengthening is forecast, and the system is expected to become a tropical storm early tomorrow and a hurricane on Wednesday. Estimated minimum assumption pressure, once again, 1,007 millibars. Rainfall will be an issue. 3 to 4 inches with maximum totals of 6 across coastal sections of El Salvador, Guatemala, Chiapas, Tabasco, and Veracruz. 48 inches with 4 to 8 inches with maximum totals of 12 inches are possible in Oaxaca and Guerrero. Rainfall may produce life-threatening flooding and landslides, especially in areas of steep terrain. Wind obviously will be an issue. Tropical storm, obviously, tropical storm or hurricane coming on to ground, especially in that area, will definitely cause bigger gusts than what the storm actually is. Storm surge, obviously, once again, to be expected. Same with surf. Next intermediate advisory is at 1 a.m. my time. Next complete advisory is at 4 a.m. my time. I will not be awake for those. I am telling you guys right now. I might be awake for this one, but I'm not going to be awake for the 4 a.m. one. I'm saying that right now. Where is it? I think it's this one. So they are expecting a 80 knot peak here with this storm. So if we put that into our handy dandy calculator here, that is a 90 mile an hour hurricane. If we jump over to the Saffir-Simpson scale, that is a very high end Category 1 hurricane here on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And that is currently what they anticipate TD5E to be by the time it gets landfall. Then obviously rapidly weakens once it hits land, then dissipates within 2 days, pretty much. So now, jumping over to the cone and warning graphics here. So the areas in pink there are the hurricane watch. They are currently anticipating landfall about 6 a.m. on Thursday. This is. Let me see if I can figure it out. I believe that's in Central Standard Time. So about 7 a.m. on Thursday is when they are anticipating landfall here. Yeah, we'll see. It might get up at like 6:30. Actually, probably like 6. So I don't want another Debbie repeat. If you guys know, you guys know. I barely. I went live for Debbie like probably 30 minutes before officially made landfall. If you guys remember that, but last year. But yeah, 6 a.m. landfall is currently anticipated here for what is likely going to be Tropical Storm Eric soon. By 6 p.m., pretty much tomorrow now, we are expecting it to become a hurricane. Then 12 hours after it makes landfall, then rapidly weakens into a tropical storm, then a post-tropical depression. Then the yellow is the tropical storm watch. I could see it getting trimmed a bit. Maybe the watch getting extended out into this area right here. I could see that happening either this upcoming update or the full update. Honestly, looking at radar imagery here on my TV, it does look like the storm is getting better organized as well. And I can show you guys that once we get through the key messages here. So this is the key messages for Tropical Depression 5E here. The depression is expected to become a tropical storm by early today, pretty much, and quickly strengthen into a hurricane by Wednesday as it approaches southern Mexico. A hurricane watch has been issued for portions of southern Mexico. The depression will likely produce heavy rainfall across portions of Central America and southern Mexico through this week. Life flooding and mudslides are possible, especially in areas of steep terrain. Storm surge could produce coastal flooding near where the center crosses the coast. And this is our rainfall graphic here. If I can go over to here. As you guys can see, this area of this area is the lowest confidence, so this is likely where the center will make landfall here. So Oaxaca, I really hope I am saying that name right. You guys will be in the direct center of the storm if it goes through. You'll also likely get the heaviest bit of rain here as well. So Oaxaca, you guys get ready, especially along areas near the center of the state and near the coast. Because anywhere in Oaxaca along the coast here, the majority of the coastline it can either see 8 to 12 inches of rain from the system or 6 to 8 inches, depending on how much you actually get here. Now, this all won't be in one area. This will be spread out. So, a town, say, 5 kilometers to your west will get, say, 6 inches, and your town gets 12 inches. Or something like that. We really don't know until it happens here. So, if you guys live in these areas, get ready now for not only the wind surge, but also the rainfall, especially if it can trigger mudslides and all that stuff. Now, I will note, this forecast is for planning purposes. A detailed official forecast will be issued by the respective National Hydrometeorological Service here. That's also issued by the Weather Prediction Center here. This is forecaster Castellanos. That's actually pretty funny. So let's take a look at the arrival times here. So, you guys in Mexico could start receiving tropical storm force winds between Wednesday at 8 p.m. or Wednesday at 8 a.m. Between that 12-hour window is when you guys can expect to start receiving tropical storm force winds here. Most likely arrival between Wednesday at 8 p.m. and Thursday at 8 a.m. is the most expected time, most likely time, I should say, that you guys can start expecting to see tropical storm force winds. Now, let's jump on over to tropical tidbits here. So, this is the current infrared satellite view of the system. And while the satellite is loading up, I would like to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. We will be live as often as we can during this hurricane season to keep you guys safe. Obviously, at this time last year, we were covering storms like Hurricane Beryl, which ended up being the first Category 4 hurricane in the month of June in the Atlantic. You guys remember that? That was insane. We covered Beryl, Chris, Debbie. Don't think we did Ernesto. We did Helene. Didn't do Isaac. I believe we might have done Oscar. Beryl, Debbie, Helene. We also covered Chris landfalling here. We did we landfalled Debbie, we landfalled Helene. I believe we did Dahlia as well. Milton. I believe we did Milton. It's a lot of storms that we did last year. Now, I'm not sure if we'll be able to cover all of them this year, just because of my work schedule. However, if we are, if we are available, you can expect a live stream. However, jumping into the satellite view, you can see that this storm does have a center of circulation here that you can see with several bands of storms surrounding it. Got blow up and convection as well, right near the center, which could indicate that this thing is beginning to strengthen a bit more, and we could have Eric within the next hour. I want to take a look at the visible shortwave. So we'll tell more of the story. And yeah, you can see there that there is a certain circulation right here, right in the middle of your screen there. So that's going to be something to know if that can fully wrap itself up with convection. Let's take a look at water vapor, see how moist the area around it is, and yeah, it's working with fairly moist air here around it. I also just want to make sure that there isn't another system behind it. And there's not. Okay. So, we're going to jump on over to the forecast models. And we got to move quickly here. And none of the hurricane models covering this thing. FSB parent. Okay. Looks like only the GFS is running for it. So we won't even bother. We'll just take a look at the GFS. So this is the system right here. Down to 963 millibars. Obviously, this isn't the full model run, but this is what the storm could look like in about 2 days here. It's about at 12Z on Thursday. You can see that we have a pretty good hurricane here. Obviously, it skips about we skip about 12 hours of time between this frame and this frame. But that just shows you how quickly this thing will get its act together according to the GFS. So once again, if you live in a hurricane watch or the tropical storm watch, start thinking about where you're going to go now. Obviously, I know it's tough if you're evacuating to the US right now. Not getting into politics here, but it is going to be rough getting into the US right now if you want to evacuate north. So your best option is try to go to your east into like Panama and that area. Central America is pretty much your best bet. And we just got a new frame in. So by the time this thing makes landfall here on Thursday, it'll be about a 969 millibar storm here. Then quickly weakens after landfall, as expected. So anyways, guys, that's the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I might have a video up tomorrow morning regarding the latest on the system. But if not, expect another video about the same time tomorrow. Or I guess today. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, guys, peace out.